authorities now looking for hundreds who may have come in contact with her. Excessive force, the video now seen by millions tonight. The officer appearing to throw a teenage girl to the ground, then pulling out his gun. Severe storms, the tornado threat tonight from Arkansas to Pennsylvania, from the D.C. area all the way up to New York. The massive fire erupting at a chemical plant, families urged to stay indoors.
From ABC News World Headquarters, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Monday night. And we begin with several breaking stories. First, that manhunt that began in upstate New York, now stretching across state lines, across the U.S. border. Two convicted murderers, their brazen prison break over the weekend using those power tools, drilling through walls made of steel and brick. And tonight, ABC News has learned authorities have interviewed this woman, a worker at the prison. The escaped convicts crawled through this pipe, and tonight communities are on high alert, police going door to door, searching school classrooms. And tonight, as that worker is questioned, many are asking, did these convicted murderers get inside help? ABC's Wjla Benitez is in upstate New York.
Tonight, the first convicts to break out of this maximum security prison are on the run, 2 days and counting. Convicted murderers David Sweat and Richard Matt serving up to life in prison, now gone without a trace. Police now at this home, but not wanting us near.
You probably shouldn't hang out if they're not home.
The woman who lives here, prison employee Joyce Mitchell. Sources telling ABC News she's been interviewed by investigators about the weekend prison break. Her neighbors frightened.
Me and her were scared, I want to find out what's going on.
Officials say the two men were last seen in their adjoining cells at 10:30 p.m. Friday night for bed check and reported missing the following morning at 5:30 a.m., leaving this note behind. Their empty beds stuffed with clothes to make it look like someone was asleep. Sweat and Matt using power tools to drill through a wall reinforced with steel to a catwalk running alongside utility pipes.
What is the most troubling fact is they needed power tools to do what they actually did. They were heard. They had to be heard.
The prison under renovation, but it's unclear how they got their hands on tools. They worked their way down 4 stories, then cut through a 2-foot-thick brick wall and into a steel steam pipe, only 24 inches in diameter, shimming until they got to a tunnel. After another several hundred feet, coming to a locked manhole, they sawed open with their tools, escaping on the street about a block from prison walls. A neighbor coming home at 12:30 a.m. saying he confronted 2 men in the backyard. They said, "Oh, sorry, we're going in the wrong direction," before taking off. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo retracing their steps over the weekend. Schools in the area now guarded by police, children staying indoors. And so if those 2 men seen in the backyard were in fact the escapees, it would mean they would have had a 5-hour head start before anyone realized they were missing. And that's why tonight police say they could be anywhere. So David, they are offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to their arrests.
All right, Wjla Benitez leading us off from upstate New York. Gio, thank you. We are also following an urgent medical alert from the CDC tonight. A patient with what they call an extreme form of TB, dangerous, contagious, immune to the most powerful drugs. Tonight she is in isolation, but she had traveled through some of the busiest airports in this country. And the concern, was she contagious at the time? Tonight authorities searching for hundreds who may have been exposed. And here's ABC's David Curley.
A female patient is tonight in isolation at the NIH Clinical Center, according to federal health officials here in Washington, D.C. She's being treated for what is called extensively drug-resistant tuberculosis, a rare but dangerous form of the disease that defies many of the medications used to treat TB. The woman flew from India to the United States in April through Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Then she spent time in Missouri and Tennessee, 7 weeks in the U.S. before the diagnosis. So tonight, the CDC and Illinois Department of Health are reaching out to hundreds who may have been in contact with her, either on the ground or in that aircraft.
And David Curley, who covers aviation for us. David, how concerned are authorities tonight that this might have been spread at airports or on a plane, perhaps?
They're not too worried that it may have been spread on the airplane, David, but this is an extensive and difficult area to track back and try and contact all these people. That flight was 7 weeks ago. You're talking about travel into 3 different states. Tonight, the woman remains in isolation. She is in stable condition, David.
All right, we'll have much more on our website, abcnews.com. David, thank you. Now to those images out of Texas seen by millions, a pool party erupting into chaos. A police officer tangling with a teenage girl, appearing to push her down there, and then later seen drawing his gun. 24 hours ago, those images watched by 1 million people. Tonight, more than 5 million now, and the outrage growing by the hour. ABC's Steve Osinsami with what the police department has already done.
The disturbing video starts with a former Officer of the Year placed on leave tonight. Police Corporal Eric Casebolt, racing so fast he falls to the ground.
He was just aggressive for no reason at all. It was horrible.
Nearly a dozen police were responding to a fight on Friday at a community pool between a handful of black teenagers and white residents, and most of the officers were keeping it calm.
I'm just saying, don't take off running when the cops get here.
But Corporal Casebolt,
Get on the ground.
trying to figure out who, was pushing teenagers to the ground and putting them in handcuffs.
Sir, we just came for a birthday party, please.
And police say here is why they put him on leave. When he starts in on 15-year-old Wjla Becton wearing the neon bikini, he pulls his gun on friends who come to help her. One of them is arrested, and then he goes back to the girl.
He told me to keep walking, and I kept walking, and then I'm guessing he thought we were saying rude stuff to him, and he shoved me in the grass, and he started pulling the back of my braids, and I was like telling him that he can get off me.
What is he doing?
The hardest part to watch is when he sits on her back with his knees as she's screaming for her mother.
I ask that all persons be patient and respect the investigative process.
Groups are protesting tonight, saying that this all started after kids who were visiting here heard racial slurs at this pool. But both black and white families tell us that police were justified because the kids were out of control. David?
Steve Osinsami tonight. Steve, thanks. And now to that other confrontation with the cop that made national headlines. Walter Scott shot and killed in Charleston, South Carolina. You'll remember the images, his car pulling into the parking lot, being followed by that officer then approaching the vehicle. You see them interacting, and then the whole country saw what came next. That suspect running and then shot and killed. Tonight, a major development, that officer now indicted. And here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
Those fatal moments caught on tape. 6 shots striking Walter Scott multiple times in the back as he fled from Officer Michael Slager. The videos released prompting national outrage and quick action by authorities. Slager has maintained his innocence, supporters saying the shooting was justified. But today, Walter Scott's family appeared grateful.
And this morning, the grand jury made a decision to indict Mr. Slager for murder. And we're very happy and pleased about that.
Slager has been in jail since his arrest. If convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of 30 years to life in prison, with no possibility of parole. The death penalty is not on the table because South Carolina law only allows it in connection with aggravating circumstances such as robbery or kidnapping.
Date has been set, but no trial date has been set, but the prosecutor made clear today that she will rely on other evidence to make her case against Slager, not just the video. David?
Pierre Thomas live in our Washington, D.C. bureau. Pierre, thank you. Tonight, a major development in that terror takedown in Boston. The suspect, authorities say, lunging at police with a military-style knife. Authorities say inspired by ISIS and plotting to behead an officer. Well, tonight, new images of the moment he attacked. Officers seen backing away as he moves toward them. Police then opening fire. The suspect killed. To Pennsylvania tonight, that inferno at a chemical warehouse still smoldering at this hour. The dramatic images lighting up the night sky inside toxic chemicals. And listen to this tonight, the explosions captured early on. Families were told for a time to stay in place. Officials saying it is safe now, but in a moment you will see the water coming out of those pipes. You can decide for yourself. Here's ABC's David Wright on the scene.
Tonight, officials are investigating what they call a major hazmat incident. Home video captured the early moments of this blaze. Those popping sounds, canisters of chemicals catching fire. The location, Miller Chemicals, a Pennsylvania fertilizer manufacturer, 2 hours west of Philadelphia.
To hear the explosions, it was almost like being in a battle zone.
Homeowners within a 1-mile radius were being told to shelter in place. Businesses ordered to close. It's not clear what chemicals are burning, but some downwind report a nasty smell and burning eyes. Firefighters protecting themselves, rinsing possible chemicals off their suits. For hours today, firefighters